Alright, back to launching, because that's what we're here for. Vitality. Vitality's a big one. Vitality is the counter to Strength. I don't know if I mentioned... I didn't. Strength has piercing. I should mention that. Strength is awesome because it pierces armor. A percentage of all your damage will pierce armor, which means it just completely ignores the awesome armor stats. And is it just me or are the numbers changing on this? I'll have to check the video after that. It's weird. Anyway, the 702 here that you see, this will actually, I guess, if I move the stat, these windows go off the screen. That's really annoying. Okay, it used to list exactly how much % damage Strength bypassed armor and how much Vitality fights that. Vitality actually fights first the piercing damage. So, when people pierce your armor, Vitality reduces the amount of damage you take by a %. And it takes it from that pierce first. So you can actually counter high Strength with high Vitality. It's a pretty good stat. Big thing about it, though, is that Vitality gives you a ton of HP. You'll see this piece has 26 Vitality on it, but no HP anywhere on it. When I unequip it, I lose 2,000 health. So 20 Vitality, 2,000 health. Still, you can see that HP is a better investment, but you should be mindful that anything with Vitality on it is going to give you more HP, which is always good. Because if you have double HP of someone, you might as well multiply your armor times 2. Because they're going to take that long to cut you down. Alright, finally, heavy armor. I've been preaching heavy armor. Everybody knows the kicks are all nerfed. The only ones that are not nerfed are Marilyn Rose and Rising Shot. Rising Shot and Marilyn Rose are the only ranger moves, really, that aren't nerfed in some way. Oh, and the slide. Good old slide. Every gunner has slide, and it always goes the same speed. I've actually tested this with a bunch of people. We got a really high movement speed ranger to run next to me. We both slid at exactly the same speed. So even though your movement speed seems to make you go further in PvE, in PvP it doesn't seem to have any effect at all. And maybe it's just because of the amount. Like, you can get some really hilarious fairies in, PvE, but PvP just has this little crappy one. So you don't go really that fast or that far. Okay, let's see what else. Hand cannons. This is a big sticking point for me. Not just because of Cannonball. Cannonball sucks now. For those of you who weren't here before Rebirth, Cannonball was a pretty darn good move. Did about 6,000 damage. Now we're down to 1,300. So somebody didn't like Cannonball and said, hey, let's just, just give this thing a 600% nerf. That'd be awesome. And so they did. The cool thing is it caps out at a lot higher damage now. So if you're in PvE fighting with it, you can get it up to like level 25, and this thing will, blow somebody up. It'll do like, let's see, 3 times 6. It'll do 18,000 damage. So it'll do pretty good. 18,000 damage is pretty darn good to a group of enemies. I don't like it because, say there's something behind this guy, it explodes on him and misses like everything behind him. You have to be really crafty with it. Like, you have to figure out what is exactly the right distance and shoot down. Alrighty, hey guys, I'm actually just going to cut this into my last video. I didn't like the way it was going. It was a really long take anyway, but I was talking about Cannonball, and I just kind of got away from me. It's my first video, give me a break. But yeah, you can expect me to do this throughout probably. I'll just have random cuts if I don't like something I'm doing or talking about. I'll just, I do this for a living, so I do multiple takes all the time. I can't control the background music in this, so it probably would annoy you, but I will try to do it as little as possible. That was a pretty long take. I mean, I did that whole video in one take. And again, I'm talking about the process. This is kind of why I stopped, is I was talking about Cannonball instead of the process. So the verdict on Cannonball, pretty simple. It doesn't do damage anymore. I've seen people with 27 ranks in this do 3k damage. And I'm sorry, I don't care if you're wearing leather and you could be a little stronger with heavy. That is way too little damage. If you could buff it up to 6,000 damage, that is only what it did pre-patch. That is not worth, freaking 17 ranks or whatever that comes out to. That's almost 400 SP. I mean, you could put that into anything and have a good time with it. So, we're just going to go ahead and say that hand cannons are not for Cannonball. Hand cannons are for a nifty little trick that I will show you later, where you can basically attack people without ever hitting them. But we'll get to that later. Do some awesome back attacks and stuff. The main reason somebody would love hand cannons is Rising Shot. Rising Shot with hand cannons is amazing. It is a beastly move. especially in brawls. Cannons have 100% penetration, so you can pretty much launch a ton of people into the air and ruin a whole bunch of people's days instead of just one person. That's important. On top of that, cannons have insane attack strength, and they have strength stats, and they have plus ranks for our skills. So you check out here, I have the Paralyzer. This is our paralyzed cannon. This thing's amazing for PvE. I kind of like it for PvP, but the stun is down to 2 seconds, so it's not really a real stun. Like, if it happens, it happens. I probably was comboing them anyway. It's not a big deal. It's more likely that I'm not going to notice they're stunned, you know, before they're unstunned, because it's only 2 seconds. What I do like about it is it has attack speed on it. This was a really hard one, because other ones have, like, bonuses to skills. Bonus skills are really great. I really keep the paralyzed cannon just because of that stun in PvE. It just makes you a complete beast. You know, you can stun 10 or 11 creatures at a time. But just one more rank in laser, I did the math on this, and it gives you about 5% more damage. So that's a pretty big deal. I mean, just my laser does about 10k. You know, 5% be a nice little boost. What was that, 50 damage? That doesn't sound good. 500 damage, I think. Yeah, 500 damage. So 500 damage, not a lot to sneeze at in PvP because, you know, you got so much life. Doesn't matter. But, let's get off hand cannons here. I just enjoy hand cannons because it's, again, same as the heavy armor. You have your strength, you have your attack power, you have, you know, your just raw stopping power. I mean, you watch people pull out a bow gun, can they trip people for 1300 damage? Your cannonball probably does less damage than my kick does. Anyways, go to EX skills real quick and we'll wrap this video up. So the last thing I want to talk about is the EX skills. EX general skills, if you get on here, check them out here. Oh, you can only use them one time. Well, that's great. The general skills all actually affect PvP. This is a little known fact, so I thought I'd include it in this video. It's about 30%. You can see from my thing at the bottom here, the stats, I have 3% of damage for everything. That is from the 10 that I have in town. So that, and me and my friends checked. My friend is all general stat. He's a big PvP guy, and he got like vitality for the extra HP. He got, you know, strength and intelligence. He just got everything he needed for his character. And it does about pretty much exactly what you're seeing. It's about 30%. So I have the full strength one, and that has actually added not, you know, 75, but about 20 something, 23, 24 strength. So not much. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. It's a lot. You know, pieces of armor only give you about that much. So it's like I'm wearing an extra piece of armor because of the EX general skill. That goes for hit as well. I guess I should leave that up. You can see my hit is pretty awesome here. It's +9. That is really good in PvP. Maybe, you know, it doesn't seem so good because you're like, oh man, PvE, I have like +30. Well, so do I. That is what it turns into in PvP, and that really helps. Like, when you're fighting people who have ridiculous evasion, you know, monks, Asuras, that kind of stuff, you're not gonna want to miss that Marilyn Rose that saves your life. So, hit is awesome, strength is awesome, vitality is awesome. Those are the really good general ones off the top of my head. The elemental strength, pretty negligible. I mean, it just increases your damage with elemental attacks like this fire. But it's only a 3, it's not 10. And I think 10 is something like 0.5% or something ridiculous. But we're talking about really big numbers in PvE, so it pans out. It's just extra damage. I'm a damage stacker. Gotta get max all damage here. You can see I'm max rank with everything. Some of this stuff is above max rank, like my awesome level 31 rising shot. I'm going to go ahead and talk about skills and stuff in a later video. I'm going to wrap this up because I'm rambling. I'm going to have like a whole part of this. It's going to be like part 7 or whatever this ends up being. And it's just going to be like, yeah, so I've been wrapping this up for the last 5 minutes. I'm just going to upload this video too. My channel's going to be full from the first video. It's going to be great.